Hi, good morning, RT International at the weekend. Thanks for tuning to us. My name's Kevin Owen here with the next 30 minutes news update for you. And of course, today should have been Britain's first day outside the European Union in half a century, but instead, the country's hurtling towards a hard Brexit. Many of the remaining 27-nation bloc also say a no-deal scenario is now the most likely outcome. On Friday, Britain's Prime Minister faced a third defeat to her withdrawal agreement in the House of Commons.
The implications of the House's decision are grave. The legal default now is that the United Kingdom is due to leave the European Union on the 12th of April, in just 14 days' time. Mr. Speaker, I fear we are reaching the limits of this process in this House. This House has rejected no deal. It has rejected no Brexit. On Wednesday, it rejected all the variations of the deal on the table. And today, it has rejected approving the withdrawal agreement alone.
So calls are now growing for Theresa May to quit as leader and for a general election to be called. She had earlier promised to resign if her deal passed through Parliament. And May is not the first UK Prime Minister to fall on her sword over the EU. Polly Boyker takes a look at that.
Europe for the question of in or out, them or us. It's become a common denominator for Conservative Prime Ministers being put to the sword. At first, the Iron Lady was applauded for standing up to Brussels.
We have not successfully rolled back the frontiers of the state in Britain, only to see them reimposed at a European level.
But in the end, her own party felt she went too far.
Of course, the chairman or the president of the Commission, Mr. Delors, said at press conference the other day that he wanted the European Parliament to be the democratic body of the community, he wanted the Commission to be the executive, and he wanted the Council of Ministers to be the Senate. No. No, no.
This vehement opposition to European integration forced Thatcher's closest ministers to resign in protest. The Iron Lady was ousted from office just days later, crushed by the European question. John Major replaced Thatcher, but Europe came back with a vengeance. The Maastricht Treaty on closer European integration was dogged by a string of revolts.
Parliament must put this stalemate over Europe behind it. I am not prepared to let it poison the political atmosphere any longer.
Major pushed it through, but his authority never recovered. Europe 3 had a fresh new face as protagonist and victim. And just like that bit of the movie where you scream, "No, don't do it," because you can see the threat lurking, George Osborne was said to have told David Cameron the same. But Dave didn't listen.
We will give the British people a referendum with a very simple in or out choice: to stay in the European Union or to come out altogether. It will be an in-out referendum.
We all know what happened next.
The British people have made a very clear decision to take a different path. And as such, I think the country requires fresh leadership to take it in this direction. A negotiation with the European Union will need to begin under a new Prime Minister.
And with that, Cameron was banished to write his earlier than expected memoirs from a luxury garden shed. We all know the star of Europe 4. This horror story is still being played out. The latest twist: the tragic heroine has offered up herself as sacrifice. She's resigned to the fact that it'll be her political death, but perhaps cushioned by the notion that she could cut the head off the European question once and for all. Although, like with all good multi-movie franchises, With the terms of Britain's departure from the EU still left to hammer out, and parliamentary manoeuvres to stop Brexit still a big possibility, you're left feeling that a sequel could see Europe claim even more victims.
On Friday, thousands rallied in London for the March to Leave protest over the UK's position. Our In Case You Missed It team were there too.
We ain't got a voice anymore, our voice is gone. Brexit is done. We should have come out today.
The media have lost the trust of the general public, but you can always trust Johnny because he's the man of the people.
We voted to leave, we need to leave.
We're out here protesting and making our voices heard, and that's what democracy is.
So how many votes until democracy works?
No, it's about our country. No, right, and I'm
that's where the split is. That's where the
there's
split
no
is.
split up, North mate. We're patriots.
Yeah.
And they're shitting all over us in there.
Point is the split is the working class against this.
The Leavers are even arguing amongst each other. Madness.
I think the EU is corrupt, and I think we can't be their servants anymore.
There is no peace, says my God.
Would Jesus have voted Leave or Remain?
The Bible ordains nationhood. Unto the wicked! The wicked!
He talks a lot of sense, what can I say? Are you for Brexit, yeah?
Yes. This country is too small country. A lot of people cannot give it.
It's a good I don't give you a thing. Yeah, that's more like what that goes. There's not a Remainer in sight. Has it been taken over by the Brexiteers? I think it may well have done.
We need to stop talking about Brexit, start talking about flooding.
The economy went down the pan 2 years ago when she announced it, didn't it? Everyone took their money out of Britain.
What are your thoughts, my man? What are your thoughts?
Well, it's been a long time coming, but I think today is definitely the day that democracy will probably die.
Free the UK, it's been betrayed. We've been betrayed by Parliament.
I think it's very sad for all those women that what they gave up for us to have a vote, and now because we're old, we're told we shouldn't vote.
The feeling and the mood and the togetherness of this beautiful day, I would hope that no deal would still be on the table.
Is democracy dead?
It is dead as a doornail.
Do you think people have lost trust in the media? Is democracy dead?
Democracy's finished.
Tensions flare